Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another discussion on plagiarism and Hoyoverse. Oh boy, do you find it a surprise at all that there's yet again another drama surrounding a game that happens to have some similarities to Genshin Impact? But the thing is that when you start digging deeper into this whole 7 Deadly Sins origin versus Genshin Impact debacle, you start realizing, oh golly gee, this doesn't look very good at all for Genshin Impact players, because we've got this sort of clip over here. But as we look at some other references to 7 Deadly Sins that predate Genshin Impact, oh boy, you're gonna start asking the question, who actually copied who? So let's go ahead, let's start taking a look at this one first. So this clip has been publicized across multiple platforms. First and foremost being Twitter over here, where it's got a shit ton of engagement, 3.4 million views, a bunch of likes from the entire Hoyo community, all of that. And it's also been publicized on Reddit as well, where it's one of the most highly upvoted posts, 9K over here, in the history of the subreddit. So we're just gonna go ahead, look at it from this angle. It's only 39 seconds, and of course, they're showing things like a goddess statue. They're showing things like, I don't know, the gate, a portcullis, like a fucking gate to a medieval castle. Let's just take a look at this one first. So, did Hoyo copyright medieval architecture? Because, like, the main thing that they're showing here is that there's a gate. This one's bigger, and there's, like, a completely different design in terms of pretty much everything else regarding the entrance. And so all they did was just say, hey, look, this has a medieval gate. Do you know who actually invented this? The fucking Europeans, all the way back in, like, 1100, bro. And you want to know who else created statues of goddesses? Hoyoverse did. That's something that we've never seen shit like this before in history. Yeah, totally. Just forget all of the stuff that, like, I don't know, the Greeks and the Romans did. Yeah, let's forget about those. Oh, and dragons? Yeah, Hoyoverse made those too. Hoyoverse made dragons as well. And cities? Medieval cities, right? Remember, Hoyoverse created medieval gates. Of course, they also created medieval cities as well. You can see that the scope of this one, they're just entirely fucking different, though. It's like, bro, it's like, the only thing similar here is the architecture. And climbing? Hoyoverse invented climbing, too. Yeah, climbing was not a thing that humans were capable of until Hoyoverse invented it in Genshin Impact in 2020. Yeah, we actually all were... I'm sorry, I don't even know how to justify that one. It's just, it's... And I guess the only thing in here that you could maybe say was inspired a little bit too much by Genshin is like the animation for time passing. But I guess Hoyo invented clocks too. Yeah, time and clocks didn't exist. Day and night, the day and night cycle and the 12-hour clock, they didn't exist until Hoyo put them in Genshin Impact. Guys, this is the stuff that the Hoyoverse community is rallying behind to try to insinuate that 7 Deadly Sins origin is just copying the game. And do you want to know what kind of like the crazy part is? This is Legend of Zelda. And that's Genshin on the left. Huh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not a good look, is it? That's a bit of a rough look, is it? Yo, Connorisa, appreciate the raid. But this is the thing, guys. It gets even worse. Because people are all talking about how 7 Deadly Sins has been copying Genshin Impact just based off of Origins being the newest title released under the 7 Deadly Sins IP. But as you begin looking, wait, that's been the design. They're just taking the literal design of Leonis from 7 Deadly Sins, and this is what it looks like in the anime, which was released in 2014. They just literally took the design of the city from the anime. And so who's actually copying who? Because people love to spread this narrative, right? That Hoyoverse, Mondstadt, just got copied 1-for-1 by Seven Deadly Sins Origin, when the reality is, didn't Genshin Impact just copy Seven Deadly Sins by making Mondstadt look like this? And that clock system we were just talking about, right? That's the most incriminating. Oh, wait. What's going on over here? This is The Witcher 3 that released in 2015. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Yeah, this game's got day and night cycles as well. So I guess Genshin copied this one, too. Wait a second here. Wait, I thought Hoyo made everything. I thought Hoyoverse made everything. And when you look and you see, right, that even in Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross, which released in 2019, had this as their graphics for what their city looks like. Uh-oh. That's not looking too good, is it? This is just another example, ladies and gentlemen, of the Hoyoverse community, because they seem to have think that no game ever existed prior to the release of Genshin. They're accusing another IP of copying them, right? They're accusing another IP of plagiarizing Hoyoverse, when in reality, well, when you point one finger at somebody else, there are three fingers pointing back at you, bucko. And this is a circumstance where it looks way worse for Genshin. It looks way worse for Hoyoverse the more you actually start digging. And it's gotten to the point, ladies and gentlemen, where it legitimately just looks embarrassing. Because these are all the people, right? You either die a Breath of the Wild clone or live long enough to get plagiarized. Ooh, that's not good. Ooh, that's a rough look. That's a rough look when these are all games, screenshots, right, that are older than Genshin Impact. Yes, these games are all older than Genshin and have this architecture, right, that people are all talking about, and that's the anime too. This is the level of intelligence in the Hoyoverse community, guys. Before Genshin Impact, there was nothing. The Book of Darway, Hoyosis, 112. Basically, the equivalent of the Bible for these stupid fucking shills. I wasn't paying attention, so I thought they just put Genshin on the screen twice, bro. What is this game? Yeah, that's because Genshin looks a lot like Seven Deadly Sins. That's because the Genshin universe looks a lot like Seven Deadly Sins. Mondstadt is almost a 1-to-1 to an IP that was released before it. This is crazy. Does Hoyo really not sue or, like, report for copyright? Should Hoyo be the one suing here by this logic? Uh-oh. Spaghetti-O. That's a little bit rough, isn't it? Uh-oh. Genuine question. Why do games always copy Mondstadt? Like, have some creativity at least. Remember, all of these screenshots are from games that released before Genshin Impact, or animes that released before Genshin Impact. Bro, I genuinely just cannot fathom how one community of players can shill so hard, but shill so stupidly in a way that makes no sense at all. I genuinely am at the point where I'm pretty sure the education system has failed these fucking idiots because they went to school during COVID. And instead of getting taught by actual professors, they got taught by Paimon in World Quest, and that's why they're retarded! There is no other fucking explanation at this point. These guys are probably the biggest failures in human fucking history. Because how is this the take when you know that Mondstadt is one of the most milquetoast European architecture designed worlds that's like super low in scope? Bro, like, this shit is tiny. Legitimately, this shit is pathetically small to the point where it's not even believable that this is like a nation or a city. Like, bro, it's like they took an actual like medieval castle landscape and actually just shrunk it down to like fucking Barbie size. And when you look at the scope of Seven Deadly Sins, and that looks like an actual fucking castle, bro. That actually looks real. And the funniest thing is, guys, is that 7 Deadly Sins actually does in Origins. They actually do a medieval city properly. That's what it looks like in Origins. And that's what Mondstadt, this piece of shit's little garbage, dookie, dog water, dipshit, dungy, that's what Mondstadt looks like in comparison. Bro, it looks like they ran out of polygons. They were only allowed to use a certain number of, like, houses or something. Doo-doo water. Why would an island this small even have a moat in the first place? What is there to defend? Well, that's Origins in comparison. And guess which looks way better? Yes, the one on the left looks way better, and the one on the left actually reflects this art that you saw from when the anime was created. Huh. And remember, the Hoyoshills, the Hoyoverse players, they're the ones saying that Genshin got copied. No. What Genshin did was they essentially copied 7 Deadly Sins and just made it fucking a mini-me, a miniature version, and made it look like absolute shit in the process. And so naturally, right, isn't it just ironic that this is the stuff that Hoyoverse players, Hoyoshills, rally around? Where, obviously, these guys, they never look up. They never actually see the scale of Leonis, all of that. They just show very minor similarities in architecture that any medieval building would fucking have, and then try to paint a narrative around it. But unfortunately, what they don't realize is that it's so easy to find evidence against the contrary, right? It's so easy to just find some glue that proves these guys are absolute idiots. And it happens again and again and again and again. Every single time. These individuals are not capable of individual thought. They are not capable of thinking beyond what they're told to think. They have actually taken the teachings of Paimon, just repeating what other people say, and that is their level of intelligence. They don't have a level of intelligence until they're being told by somebody what to say. It's like an actual fucking hive mind, and it gets proven time and time and time again. Bro, these people have jobs. Or like, they probably don't because they're too stupid to get hired anywhere. But these people could have jobs. Do you realize how scary that is? They might actually be somebody that, like, makes your hamburger. They make your Starbucks drink. I feel unsafe in modern society knowing that one of these people could be serving me. Do you trust them to do anything at all? I don't trust these people to do anything. That's why I actually think universal basic income is a necessity, because having these dipshits in the workforce is a danger to society. They're that retarded. It's actually better to just keep them at home so that they can just play fucking Genshin Impact for 24 hours a day, and you just don't release them to terrorize the regular populace. I'm serious, because society is getting ruined with every single second that these idiots step outside of their houses. Because this level of unintelligence is dangerous. And the Hoyoverse community is quite literally the only place you see retardation of this level. So yeah, naturally, all you gotta do, bro, right, is just look at these comment sections, look at all of these people, look at all of these situations, and it becomes more and more clear. Yes, there's a lot of people that think this way. That just means there's a lot of dipshits out there. So be on the lookout, make sure you're fully aware, you're living amongst idiots. And that's the unfortunate truth of a population that instead of getting raised by teachers, they got raised by Paimon. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.